Hi, I'm Michelle Mahalik. I'm the County Extension Agent for the 4-H program in Montgomery County, and I am here today as the 4-H Record Book Fairy to talk a little bit more about our 4-H record books. We've talked about what is a record book and why you should do one. We have also talked about the 4 sections of your record book: your check sheet, your personal information page, your 4-H story and photo portfolio. And so far we've talked about the first 3 sections of the 4-H record book: your project experiences, your leadership, and your community service. Today we'll be covering the rest of our record book's report form, and that is section 4, other projects. So on our other projects, these are anything in addition to the 4 or less that we listed on section 1. So what do I do if I don't have more than 4 projects? What can I put in this section? We have several that have that same question. Well, I only have 2 projects. What do I put in other? So let's look at, for other, let's look at some of the things that we may be doing as a self-directed project at home that we didn't realize we were doing as a project. Some of those things may be that we have a family garden. So there's a horticulture project. You're having to learn how to take care of and grow those vegetables and take care of the soil and all of those learning experiences that went along with that. Maybe you had to research what grew in your area at this time of the year. So that would be a self-directed project. Maybe you have a horse at home. You don't really do that as a horse project in 4-H. You don't really participate in the horse project activities in your county, but you have a horse and you have to take care of it. So you have a horse project. It may be self-directed, but you're having to learn how to take care of that horse, how to watch to make sure that it's eating every day and make sure it isn't sick and hasn't been injured. So that's a self-directed project. Maybe you have a set of laying hens at home that you're having to go and collect the eggs. That's a self-directed project. So look around and think about some of the other activities that you're doing in your home that you could put here if you don't have 4 or more projects or anything else to put in this section. Now, this section we are going to organize the same way that we did our project 1. We're going to use bullet statements so that the information jumps out at the judges. We are going to list the years that we've been doing it, and we're going to talk about what we've learned, where we've been, what we've learned, and how we learned that. So that is your other 4-H projects. The next section of your 4-H record book is section 5. That's 4-H recognition and awards. So you're going to tell us what award did you win, and you're going to tell us what that meant to you. Why was that award significant? So that is awards and recognition. Maybe you were recognized as the Rookie of the Year. Maybe you had the most community service hours in your club and got an award for that. Maybe it is the blue ribbon at the fair, and it was really a big deal to you because you had been working really hard and a long time for that. So that's recognition and awards. Section 6 is your non-4-H activities. So remember when we did the first video, we talked about putting down everything you're doing inside and outside 4-H. So this is where that information goes. We want to know all the same stuff that you've been doing in 4-H. We want to know if you've been doing that outside 4-H. So this is where you're going to list your activities, your leadership, and your community service and awards and recognition through other organizations. So this is where you're going to put church and band and soccer, whatever sports you're in. This is where you'll put your community theater performances and activities that community theater, maybe you've done some community service or some leadership in that community theater organization. So those kinds of things would go here. You can organize it whatever way best emphasizes what you have done and what you've accomplished in that organization outside of the 4-H program. So you may want to start with the biggest organization and then list your activities that you've done. So maybe that's track, and you have you're trained on running 365 hours for this year. Give me those kinds of details. How many hours did you spend at band practice? And I know at this stage, if you haven't been keeping good notes, you'll have to estimate or guesstimate that, and that's fine. But you'll want to include those details in the activities. What did you learn in the process of doing that? Then you're also going to put your leadership. So maybe the track team, maybe you're the captain of the cross country team. That kind of leadership is going to go here. Then you're also going to list the community service. So maybe your track team has done a community service project for the activities going on in your community, and you'll put that community service. So you want the activities, the leadership, and the community service, and any awards that you've received for any of your outside of 4-H activities. So be sure to list those. You do want bullet statements. If you're running out of space and can't make it all fit, then you'll start cutting out words that are less significant. Give them just the words that are going to give them the idea. If you are trying to best utilize the space that's offered and you've run out of activities, then you have the space to give a little more explanation on some of those things. Give us a little more detail if you have the space to do that. The final section of our 4-H record book report form is a college and career exploration section. This is a chart. You just fill in the details. Holy moly, if I'm in 3rd grade, I'm not thinking anything about what I want to do when I grow up. So the question at the top is, as of today, what career would you like to follow? Put in your best guess for that today. And then think about some of the things that you may have done throughout the year that would be career exploration. Maybe you took your lamb to the vet, and while you were there, you talked to the vet about what kind of schooling did they have. Maybe you asked them questions about how they got into this. That would be a career exploration that you would put in this section. Maybe when you were at the grocery store and you went to the meat counter to talk to them about what kind of meat was back there. Maybe you asked a few questions or you observed some of the things that they were doing. That would be a career exploration that you could list in this section. Once we get into high school, we're getting all kinds of letters from colleges and promotional stuff. If you went to San Antonio this year, there were a couple of colleges that were out and had booths. If you stopped and talked to them, that would be career and college exploration. So those kinds of things would go in here, and that would be a part of what your college and career exploration are. So, like I said, now it's time to start writing these things down, get them in the report form. You can go to the Texas 4-H webpage and find the record book page and get all of the forms and links and information. Thank you for joining us.